In the dead of night on December 16, 1773, a group of American colonists, disguised as Mohawk Indians, stealthily boarded 3 British ships anchored in Boston Harbor. What followed was an audacious act of rebellion that reverberated through history, sparking a revolution and forever altering our nation's destiny. This is the story of the Boston Tea Party and how the seeds of revolution were sown at the Green Dragon Tavern. Join us on this episode of It Happened in a Bar. Before we delve deeper into this pivotal moment in American history, let's introduce our guide through this journey.
Hello, my name is Leejon Killingsworth. I am the Chief Marketing Officer for Coyote Ugly Saloon, the world's most successful dive bar chain. My career has been dedicated to creating unforgettable experiences in bars all around the globe. I feel very privileged to have been able to experience opening bars in so many different countries and really getting firsthand experience breaking bread and sharing cocktails with people from many different cultures. From my early days in Las Vegas to my current role today, I have witnessed firsthand how bars and taverns can have an impact on society and be the birthplace of radical social change. From 1900 to 1940, women only represented 2% of the bartending workforce. By the 1970s, that number would jump up to 21.2%. In 1993, my business partner, Liliana Lovell, would open her first Coyote Ugly Saloon in New York City's East Village. In the year 2000, Jerry Bruckheimer released the movie Coyote Ugly Saloon to $120 million gross worldwide. It was a huge success. I witnessed firsthand that influence of the movie's release on the Las Vegas nightlife scene. I got there in the late 90s, and every bar, nightclub, restaurant pretty much had an all-male bar staff. You might find one woman behind a few of the bars, but it was kind of a rare sight. By 2001, it completely had flipped, where you would see an almost all-female bar staff behind the bar with maybe 1 or 2 males sprinkled in. And it really seemed to correlate with the release of the movie Coyote Ugly. I know it inspired me to want to become part of the company, and in 2002, I did. I have got to visit over 28 different countries in over 300 different cities over the course of the last 20 years, visiting the world's most exclusive restaurants, nightclubs, and bars. It has given me such a unique perspective on the roles of taverns on being the birthplace of radical social change. Today, women make up over 60% of the bartending workforce, and I can't help but feel that Coyote Ugly had some role in that paradigm shift.
Coyote Ugly's team of experts has expanded globally, bringing the unique dive bar experience to millions. A great resource for more information worth checking out is America Walks into a Bar by Christine Sismondo. Now, let's step back in time to another era where taverns played a crucial role in shaping history and radical social change.
The seeds of rebellion were sown long before the fateful night in December. Tensions between the American colonies and Great Britain had been simmering for years. At the heart of the conflict were the Townshend Acts, a series of taxes imposed by the British Parliament on everyday items like glass, paint, paper, and tea. Colonists rallied around the cry of "No taxation without representation," demanding a voice in the decisions that affected their lives. The Tea Act of 1773 further inflamed these sentiments. It allowed the British East India Company to sell surplus tea directly to the colonies, bypassing colonial merchants and imposing a tax that undercut local businesses. As tensions mounted, the colonists organized and resisted. Leading the charge was the Sons of Liberty, a secret society formed to protect the rights of the colonists and challenge British authority. Key figures like Samuel Adams, John Hancock, and Paul Revere played pivotal roles in these efforts. Events like the Boston Massacre in 1770, where British soldiers fired on unarmed colonists, only served to galvanize the resistance. The stage was set for a dramatic confrontation.
The Green Dragon Tavern, known as the headquarters of the American Revolution, was a hotbed of revolutionary ideas and planning. It was here that the Sons of Liberty, including Samuel Adams, John Hancock, and Paul Revere, would meet and plan their acts of defiance against British rule. In this very tavern, the plans for the Boston Tea Party were laid out in secrecy. The tavern provided a safe haven where revolutionaries could strategize without fear of the immediate British retaliation.
On the evening of December 16th, 1773, 3 ships carrying British tea, Dartmouth, Eleanor, and Beaver, lay anchored in Boston Harbor. Thousands of colonists gathered at the Old South Meeting House to decide the fate of the tea. With no resolution in sight, Samuel Adams declared, "This meeting can do nothing more to save the country." It was a signal. A group of men, disguised as Mohawk Indians, made their way to the harbor. In a carefully planned and executed operation, they boarded the ships and dumped 342 chests of tea into the icy waters of the harbor. The value of the destroyed tea was about $10,000, equivalent to over $1 million today. The reaction was swift and severe. In London, the British government was outraged. King George III and Parliament responded with the Coercive Acts, known to the colonists as the Intolerable Acts, which included closing Boston Harbor until the lost tea was paid for. Rather than cowing the colonists, these punitive measures only served to unite them further. Support poured in from other colonies, and the seeds of a united front against British tyranny were sown. The Boston Tea Party was more than just a protest. It was a spark that ignited a revolution. The First Continental Congress convened in 1774, bringing together representatives from the colonies to coordinate resistance against British rule. By April 1775, the first shots of the American Revolution were fired at Lexington and Concord. The fight for independence had begun, driven by the spirit of defiance that was kindled on that cold December night in Boston. Today, the legacy of the Boston Tea Party endures as a symbol of American resistance and the quest for liberty. Each year, reenactments and celebrations remind us of the power of collective action in the face of oppression. The Boston Tea Party's impact extends beyond its immediate consequences. It has inspired countless movements for change, demonstrating that even the most ordinary of places, a tavern, a meeting house, a harbor, can become the birthplace of extraordinary events.
The Boston Tea Party was a defining moment in American history, with a bold statement against tyranny and the declaration of the right to self-determination. As we reflect on this pivotal event, we are reminded of the enduring spirit of resistance and the unyielding pursuit of freedom that continues to shape our nation. This is the story of the Boston Tea Party, the night that changed the course of history and set a fledgling nation onto the path of independence.